reason why you should do Nightgame, because Daygame teaches you to be too nice, so that's something I need to work on.
I think, well, the thing with Nightgame is, it's not even about nice, I don't think, it's just about being more sexual earlier on.
Fast escalation.
Yeah, faster escalation, really, because with Nightgame you can just do that a lot more, because if you're not like escalating more quickly in Nightgame, what are you doing? You're just kind of standing there, or you're just dancing like an idiot without actually progressing.
Because the dancing monkey guys, they don't really get laid, do they?
They can, but it depends. If that's all they're doing, probably not.
Yeah.
But I think like with Nightgame, you're just in a position where you can escalate a lot more quickly, and if the girl is receptive to your advances, then you can go for a kiss and you can take things further. You can take the girl back. That's the cool thing about Nightgame. The obvious disadvantage is that you're paying most likely to get into a venue, and that venue might be shit, and oftentimes you can't really tell whether the venue will be good or not until you're actually in there and you've paid for it, etc. So that's why I don't particularly, that's why I prefer Daygame. Obviously with Nightgame you can just approach like on the streets outside the clubs and that kind of thing.
Gutter game,
as gutter game you could call it. I think like the advantage of that, you don't have to pay for it, and you've got like relatively large abundance. Disadvantage is that the girls are there with her friends.
In groups,
in big groups.
There's a lot of dudes out as well.
There's competition. There's other guys. You are going to get a lot of blowouts and cock blocks and that kind of thing. And the thing is, I mean, what we've been finding here in Playa is that when you approach around like 9 or 10 o'clock in the evening, she's already like on her way. Her group of friends are already on their way to the club or the venue or whatever.
Yeah, they're not going to cancel their plans.
They're not going to cancel their plans for you, A, but also B, it's sometimes difficult to actually get them to stop and speak to you for like 5 minutes, even if it's just 5 minutes and getting a number. That can be quite difficult, because you already be like, okay, no, we're on our way to the club, we don't want to get approached by guys right now, we're on our way, that kind of thing. And also coupled with the fact that, at least in this area, the main street or the main strip of clubs is full of these seller guys, especially at the area of the crossroads. Loads of guys just constantly trying to sell them random shit, and so it's all these like distractions and all this, not this shit again, and so you have to kind of really differentiate yourself from those guys.
Yeah, exactly. Nightgame, Ed said, is a lot of pros and cons to it, but guys who say, it's exactly the same as Daygame, that's not true. I think it's a different skill set. Guys who just be yourself everywhere, so no, it's actually situational confidence, because one guy could be really confident outside, but put him in a club and he's like, you get really nervous. So I get nervous sometimes in the club, so you've got to be able to be comfortable in all situations, I think. In the club, obviously, you got more competition, but the thing is, even in Daygame, would you say, obviously you get more points for approaching in the daytime, but do you think you're still kind of competing even though it's not obvious, would you say?
What, as in you're competing in Daygame?
Well, not directly, but think about it, she's got all these chodes on Tinder and all these other...
Yeah, 100%, it doesn't matter what method your approach is, you're going to have to be faced with loads of competition.
You can stand out there more in Daygame, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, you stand out more in Daygame. That's one of the main advantages of Daygame. But if you think about a hot girl, if you think about the amount of options that she's got online dating. Every single swipe is a match, like on Tinder, Bumble, all this shit. So every single swipe is a match on online dating. She's got probably a big social circle. She's probably got 5 to 10 guys trying to get in her pants from her social circle. And she's got whenever she goes out to her club at night with her friends, she's got loads of guys,
every guys around,
10-20 minutes of guys coming up to her trying to speak to her. And then there's Daygame, okay, she's not going to get approached that much during the day, but there are still guys out here, in Playa del Carmen in London and most cities around the world. There are going to be other guys doing Daygame. And then of course there's going to be other guys doing Daygame without even realising that they're doing Daygame. They're just confident guys.
Oh yeah.
Don't underestimate the fact that there are other guys out there who are just confident and they will just approach girls, and they don't know about all this game shit and this pickup shit.
So how do you deal with the competition thing? Because my mate was saying this also comes back to inner game, because you just have to say, I like myself, I'm the best, because a lot of guys feel
you just disregard it. Like even like pliers getting a little bit saturated now. You just have to just do the best you can. Don't get fixated and be like, oh, I saw like two guys in the space of like 20 minutes approaching girls. Oh, there's no point. Just give up and just forget about it. It's not like that, you know.
Yeah,
just do the best you can, you know. Approach a girl. Maybe she's already been approached. And because of that, she'll give you her number and then she'll flake on you. Or maybe she likes you more than the other guy, or maybe she prefers the other guy more than you. It's all good. It's just don't get so emotionally invested in the result. Just enjoy it. Be okay with nothing. Be okay with 10 girls, sleeping with 10 girls in 10 days. You know, whatever the result is, just be okay. Be happy with your life, and don't worry too much about you know, the result.
And also, it's like knowing you're doing the work on yourself, because if you're hitting the gym, you're working your fashion, your business. Like, you know that you're constantly working on yourself, so you know you're the best.
Exactly. You're trying your best to be the best
becoming your best version.
Yeah.
Some guys, they really fear competition, and that's why they avoid nightclubs. But I think you have to just kind of know you're the best version of yourself.
So it's also looking at more your internally. I mean, because externally there's other guys, but if you work on your internal, in the sense of you get better yourself every day. Work on yourself, then there isn't much competition, because there aren't many guys or people working on themselves much.
But another thing is, don't compare yourself to other people. Don't compare yourself. Just compare yourself to the person that you were yesterday. Sounds a bit corny.
It's true.
Yeah, it's literally just don't compare yourself to other people. Just compare yourself to yourself.
Because you can't win that game.
You're never going to win that game. There's always going to be someone better looking than you, more richer than you, more higher status than you, and all this stuff. More Instagram followers than you, or whatever it is. Like, you just have to be content with who you are, be grateful for what you already have, and just try and improve your situation constantly. But don't get so fucking like emotionally invested in where you are, where you're at, because it just leads to depression and just anxiety and bad things, really.
Yeah, that will lead to depression, anxiety, constantly comparing yourself to the other guys. As Ed was saying, so you can never win that game. Just focus on becoming the best version of yourself compared to yesterday. Are you making progress in other areas? But yeah, definitely Nightgame. It's something you want to be doing, not just only Daygame, because you can even get comfortable just doing approaches in the daytime, I have to be honest. So you want to kind of try out other things.
Try other things, because like some guys get so comfortable just approaching, not just during daytime, but like only on the street. Or only even on one specific street, maybe
just a shop,
street.
just like, going into Zara or something.
No, not even that. Like, well, actually, most guys are afraid to approach in shops. They think it's massively different to approaching on the street, whereas in reality, approaching in a shop is, in my opinion, it's actually easier and less high pressure. It's less pressure. It's more chilled out environment.
She's not doing much.
She's not doing much. It's quieter. It's easier to approach. You don't have to get right in front of her a lot of the times. It's just more chilled out and easier.
Yeah, it's easier. Guys really panic when they see a girl in the shop.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh no, it's different. It's actually only in your mind where it's different. Actually, the actual thing that you're doing, just saying hello to someone, it's just the same thing.
And what's your views? Because my mate was saying, like, because you don't want to put too much pressure on yourself when you're learning Nightgame, like, literally you can just do a normal Daygame approach in a club just to warm up.
Because
you don't like just if you're nervous, so you could just do the same thing.
Initially,
just to get out.
Exactly. Like, it's just at the end of the day, it's just talking to people. Like, you know, there's a million different ways to do it. Obviously, if you are new to it, it's best to keep it like much more simplified. Break it down.
It could be overwhelming in a club because you've got way more distractions and stimulus. You've got the noise, the guys, groups of girls, so it feels like it can be really overwhelming.
It might feel like a lot of people are looking at you. That's what I feel like. That's
even if you're in a club and it's quite loud, obviously you can't have a massive long conversation. But even if you just go out and say, "Hi, I think you look nice,"
that's good enough.
That's good enough initially. "Hi, you look nice."
Hello,
or just hi.
And the environment is already sexual, because I think in nightclubs, obviously, the subcontext is sexual, whereas on the street, there is no context, so you kind of have to tell them exactly why.
Yeah, exactly, that's a good point.
Yeah, otherwise if you approach from the street with no context, like, you've got to be direct, you don't want to do all this. You want to avoid indirect, in my opinion, in the daytime, because it's really...
Depends. There is a place for indirect. I do agree that like if you're stopping a girl on the street and say for example asking for directions and then you're like, oh, that wasn't really what I wanted to speak about actually, I actually just thought you were cute. I think that's lame.
Yeah,
I think that's a bit lame. I've got another friend of mine who says that can be good when you get to an advanced level because it shows a bit of vulnerability and it shows a bit of imperfection, which can, like if you're like super confident and good at this, it can actually in some cases help you, because if you're too perfect then the girl's like, oh, he's a massive player, he does it all the time, it was just way too smooth, way too perfect.
Yes,
however, on the whole, on balance, I would say that it's better to be more direct and be honest. It's just more honest, and it's the girl knows what's up, and for me personally, on a personal level, it just resonates more with me because I like to be honest and direct in general with people. Exactly. I don't like to beat around the bush. I don't like to bullshit people. So that's kind of how I
you don't want to hide your intentions because otherwise the girl doesn't know what you're doing.
It screens them a bit more as well. Screens them.
Yeah. So even like for example, even the approach is a form of screening. So I see a lot of guys. I used to approach on the side as well, and sometimes like you can do like a stronger approach that has more intent. So if you actually front stop them.
It still works, front stops, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because some guys say, oh, don't do the front stop, but to be honest, it works, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's the best thing to do. Like, if a girl's walking and you're like on the street,
you've got no choice.
Well, you have a choice, but I just think that the front stop's the best thing to do. If she's walking, 100%.
Some other guys are like, it looks a bit gamey, but I think it's the best.
And the faster she's walking, I would say the more important it is to do the front stop.
Yeah, because it really does screen them. Because when you front stop them, there's no shadow of a doubt of what she knows you're hitting on her. So if she keeps walking away, you should actually feel good about it because you're like
that's a compliance test.
You're like fuck it, I did what. I really went for it, I didn't just kind of like go indirect and did some kind of side stop.
Yeah, because he's kind of like walking with the girl is a bit needy. What do you think about that? I've tried it, but I don't know, it could be.
The thing with walking with a girl, the thing is... you
don't want to walk behind them.
It's a bit nuanced. I think generally speaking, you want to avoid it because it's just better when you can do a direct front stop, like you said. Without a direct front stop, you're missing out on the eye contact, the non-verbal communication, which is quite important.
The frame as well.
Yeah,
but it's also a compliance test because
if she doesn't stop, that's not a good sign.
Yeah. However, sometimes you can walk for like say 30 seconds and then stop.
Oh, I've tried. So I've tried it where you try to stop them, they don't stop. They're like, I'll walk with you, then you stop them again. But
you can do that. Sometimes the girl will just genuinely be in a bit of a rush and have somewhere to be, and so you can just be like, okay, let's just walk and talk then.
You lead them kind of like less.
But generally, they do tend to flake on those ones.
Yeah, they tend to flake if they don't stop on the actual approach. I find they'll flake if they don't comply with that. Right?
Yeah. Generally it's true, but you might get a few exceptions. It's just about doing the best you can, really. But I think like doing every approach walking side by side is a bit of a mistake.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. And also when you're walking with them, if you have to do it, you want to walk ahead. You don't want to be following behind them because that looks a bit
needy.
A little bit needy when you're following right behind. You know what I mean?
What side by side?
Yeah, when you're like, she's just you're like behind her.
Behind her, it's not great.
You shouldn't be doing that anyway. It's a bit weird.
That's weird. But I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of guys doing that.
She's here, and you're behind her, and you're having a conversation.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of guys doing that, so it looks a bit odd. They're kind of following behind her. So yeah, that's my views on the whole Nightgame thing and Daygame. But yeah, fast escalation. That's what Nightgame teaches. Daygame, you can get stuck in like getting a bit too slow on dates, but when it comes to Nightgame, there is no green light moment. You just have to go for it. I think.
Yeah, I quite like that. You can even integrate like a bit of Nightgame into your dates. Even you might have a Daygame interaction. You get her out later on a date, and then that date can be almost a bit Nightgame-esque in the sense that maybe you take her to a bar or bar/club. Where the atmosphere is very like sexual, and you can escalate a bit more quickly on the date. So like the other day I had a date in a bar/club, and I was just making out with her after like 20 minutes.
That's great.
Which is when And whereas normally I would wait maybe a bit longer if it was
A few hours if it's Daygame.
No, not on the date. I mean, like I'd maybe wait maybe like half an hour to an hour.
Oh, okay. I'm too slow then because I wait.
Kissing.
Sometimes I did it a few hours.
Hours for kissing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit long. Well, it depends. Depends what you
I
want.
hold the tension, but I think it's too
it
slow.
also depends.
But it depends, like,
It's
I
the
mean, if
kiss
you're doing
as
it
well.
on the first date, it depends if you're doing it on the first date or not as well.
Yeah, I go for the
I don't know
kiss.
if you're having like hour long, how long are your first dates normally?
A few hours, but yeah, sometimes I don't kiss them outside in the venue. I'll do it at the flat. I mean, do you always go for it?
Nah, I always go for it before taking them back.
Oh, you always do that?
Always,
Because some
yeah.
guys say you want to hold the tension.
Nah, fuck that.
So you just
Like,
always
I wanna, yeah, no, I always try and kiss them before taking them back, because otherwise you do get into a situation where a girl's coming back to your place and then she doesn't want to like
kiss.
Yeah, doesn't want to kiss, doesn't really want to get sexual, because she thinks you're just inviting her to be nice, because you've probably given an excuse for her to come, like some plausible deniability stuff, like
Yeah, so
oh,
maybe,
let's watch a movie, or let's have wine.
Let's look at the dolphins.
Let's look at my view, whatever it is. But you know, for some girls they'd be like, yeah, that means we're going to have sex, let's go for it. Whereas with others it's like
Language
genuinely-
barriers could be a problem, yeah.
Language barriers might be an issue, and she might just genuinely think you have a really nice view that you
Or she might
potentially
just think
want to
you
see.
just want to hang out as friends.
Yeah,
attention.
just hang out. And I think
That's,
it's important to. I mean, in my opinion, I prefer to be more direct and screen the girls. And
That's
like,
probably a good idea, to be honest, because here, right, there's a language barrier problem, so they can get confused. So
Yeah.
now I think actually, if you're in another country, you should go for the kiss.
Yeah.
Outside,
And
that's my
even-
mistake I've been making. So you want to go for it there and then, not wait until the flat. I mean, some guys do it, but if there's a language barrier, you want to go for the kiss straight away.
I mean, there's not like a rule where it must be this or it must be that, but it's just
Yeah,
my
it's
opinion.
not
I
a
think it's a
rule,
bit
yeah.
better to do it outside. Because also, like, it also, you know, like some girls, they won't even let you kiss them like on the first date, which is fine. But at least that way, you're not wasting your time bringing her back to your place and whining and dining and whatever you're doing, and then trying to go for the kiss back at your place. It's just more time being wasted, really.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I think still you should really go for it though. I mean, try and run, like, you know, try and get laid the first date, because
Just keep talking.
yeah, because I mean, sometimes what I heard is that they might not go for the kiss in public,
Yeah, some girls think.
so because they're actually like self-conscious.
that as well.
So that's the thing.
Depends
so,
on their culture. If they're
so-
Asian, they won't kiss.
So that's why it's not black or white. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, this is like, you have to just be calibrated. I mean, when you bring them back, you might have not kissed them in public, you tried, but you can tell she's self-conscious, so you can try again.
Yeah.
And then I still think you should like, you know, run the train, like you should like go hard, you know, and like the first date we're here in South America, you know.
But you need to push it here,
You
like
need to
very
push
fast.
it, like
You can't be
sometimes
a nice guy here, I think.
it's not necessarily true that you actually need to kiss a girl to get laid sometimes. Have you know?
Yeah, it's
like,
not a rule.
It's
It's
not
just
a rule,
it's the way I prefer to do it. Like unless I have a reason not to, I will almost always try to kiss a girl before taking her back to my place. And because it's partly my style, it's partly the way it just resonates with me and my personality, whatever. Like I just prefer to be like direct like that. With me, and also like, you know, when it comes to actually getting the girl back, I don't tend to say like give
Some
excuses.
gamey line,
Yeah, like
oh,
some gamey line or like some plausible deniability thing, like
You say let's just go to mine. That's good.
yeah, I just say let's just go back to mine. And
What else? She
has
gets
the option.
objections.
Yeah, she might give objections. She might just straight up no, and I'm okay with that. Like if she doesn't want to, then she doesn't want to. It's fine. Maybe I have to take her out on another date for that to happen. That's fine. But you know, it depends. Depends how I'm feeling. Sometimes I will come up with like some thing like. You know, I've got a nice view in my place or some crap.
So how have you found bouncing them back here? Have you had like LMR when you're bouncing them, or
I've only had
has
it
it been
once.
pretty smooth like when you bounce them back? No,
It's
no
not
objection?
always. It can be a bit of an objection, but it depends how she's saying it. Like
It depends on the
it
vibe
depends,
on
it
the
really
date. You
depends.
think.
Like it really depends. Like normally I can sense from her like body language and non-verbal stuff. Like that she really wants it, and then I will try and push her a bit further. But it depends if it's like how she says no, because there's a difference between like a hard no and like a soft no. Like a soft no could just be part of like part of like sexual banter and flirtation, whereas a hard no is just a no.
I mean, what do you do before you bring them back to the flat as a way of testing for compliance, that you can kiss them, or like that you can bring them back? Do you do anything?
Well, if you kiss them.
No, I meant before you kiss them, do you do any like compliance escalation, or do you have some compliance?
For sure. Like it's all physical escalation. Like it's all a build up towards the kiss. It's not like you just go for the kiss. Like I've got a lot of stuff that I do. So a lot of it's just getting like comfortable with physical touch. So
small escalations.
You know what? Yeah, like little touches. Like when I make a joke, I touch you on the knee, touch you on the shoulder. Normally, before I even go for the kiss, I'll have my arm around her back like that, and that I will have. It won't just be like some awkward like like that. It'll be like a reason to do that. So that the reason could be like I make a joke, and then I'd be like, oh no, I'm joking, and then I try and hug her, and I like bring her into me a little bit, and then push her back away a bit so she's got space. And then I do little things like I'll take a hand, put it up to my hand, be like, oh, you have small hands. I didn't realise your hands were so small. It doesn't matter if her hands are small or big or whatever. I'll just do that anyway. I put my arm next to her arm and be like, oh, look how white I am, look how pale I am.
Do you have any tattoos, jewellery?
I don't. Yeah, that's a good one as well. Like tattoos.
What's the story behind that? Also?
Yeah, but if she doesn't have tattoos, I'd be like, you should get a tattoo here or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
You can. There's always things you can do.
So do the questions game? I've done that a lot. Do you do that?
No.
It gets boring now. It's got.
Kind of. It's good for beginners and it's good for.
I've done it too much now.
I just don't really bother with it. I think you don't. And the thing is, like I ask those kinds of questions.
Well, you just integrate it in.
I just integrate it in. Yeah, I don't.
You don't say we're going to now play the question.
Yeah. I don't say like let's play a question game or whatever.
I guess you used to do that because I've done it a lot. And to be honest, this is the thing we're saying. Like as a beginner, it's good to have a framework. But then if you keep doing it too much, it becomes robotic. Yeah, it's really boring. Isn't it?
Boring. I think. I just ask the fucking questions, just as questions. I don't bother with.
Let's play.
Yeah, you don't have to frame it as like let's play a question game, whatever.
Yeah, you can ask me anything, I'll ask you.
And you don't have to frame it as a game. You'd be like, okay, now you ask me something interesting. So like, like the earlier on in the question game, you might ask a platonic question, but it'll be a slightly more interesting question, like what's the craziest thing you've done in the past week or something? And then I'll ask that to her, and then be like, aren't you interested to find out what the craziest thing I've done is?
Oh, okay.
So it's like reciprocating it back to. So you're not just talking about her, you're talking about yourself as well.
Okay, that's cool, but you don't actually play it, that's fair enough.
Yeah,
you don't want to become a robot, guys. It's good for frameworks in the beginning, but you want to abandon them as you get better, I think.
Yeah.
Because it becomes really robotic.
Yeah, it's the same with like the London Daygame model, for example. It's useful for beginners, but, like...
If you keep doing, I don't know, like the same...
Yeah, it's good to have like a bit of a framework and understand sort of like why you're saying what you're saying.
Yeah, you need to understand what you're doing.
Having a bit of structure initially, but you don't really want to be like so heavily reliant on it to the point where you're like, being robotic or like using almost like scripted lines and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Cheers for watching. If you'd be interested in one-to-one coaching with me where we'll go out in public and work on you approaching girls, or more generally with your social confidence, please visit my website ed-game.com.
Tune in, let me herbulate, exhale with a skeleton sound. Higher, laid on this fire, right?